colleges and universities worldwide to look at some of the issues that students are having as it relates to their ability to successfully navigate their student life. And it identified 10 secrets for student success. And the 10 secrets speaks about study skills, test-taking skills, perception, learning styles, and the personality, the organization that you align yourself with, your attitude, goal setting, research skills, research papers, the synergy, the sort of group that you align yourself with, how you become motivated, time management, and stress management. And this is very important because it is said that it is the person who have the ability to manage stress in an examination is the one that will do well. Very often we study and we prepare for the exam. However, when you get into the exam, if you're not able to manage your stress level, then you're not able to be as effective as you would like to be. So there are some clues, there's some techniques that will allow you to manage your stress level and give you the ability to do well in exam. Here at Excelsior, we're about your success. Coming to us as students, as our clients. In fact, we don't see you as students and we don't see you as benefactors. We are to provide you with a service. So you're our clients and we need to meet your needs. This morning, I wanted to look at study skills and test-taking skills. And when we talk about study skills, is that we all have different learning styles. And each individual must try and find out what is your learning style. What is it that works for you? And you can't follow persons around you and assume that you'll be successful. There are some of us who may be able to go to the class, listen to what the lecturer is saying, and we can recall and memorize and reproduce. But to be successful in studying, the purpose of studying is not about just learning the material and not about just memorizing the material. It's about understanding the material. And the first thing you have to ensure, where is the correct source material? Where do I get the material? Whether you're online or face-to-face, it is important that you find the source from which the material for the course that you're studying is available. And when you find those material, which becomes your reading tool, you need to preview the material, you need to practice certain reading techniques. And the reading technique that you practice will depend on what works for you. When you get a particular set of articles or a text or a chapter to read, you should not just start reading the chapter just like that. You need to do what is called a preview. And you need to ask yourself some questions. Why am I reading this chapter? What do I want to get from it? What are the key points? And as you go through the chapter, you just make notes of those key points. Okay, and you try to put it in your own words. So in reading, your first step is about skimming the document to find out what is important. And when you go into an exam, that's also a strategy to be successful at. When you get a test, you don't start to do the first question. You skim through the paper first and look for those questions that you're familiar with. And if you find one that you know, that's the one you start with. Even if it is that number, it's the last question on the paper. Start with what you know. Start with experience. And in so doing, you find that once you have answered one question, that relaxes you. And you start to reduce your stress level. And you will then start to remember and treat with the other matters. And always recognize that when you get a test, there are always some overlapping concepts. And in reading the questions, just reading them, it starts to get your mind activated and you will start remembering things. If when you see the first question, you become nervous and turn off, that's the end of it. You have failed before you start. So those are some techniques that you must do. You must look about scanning the paper, recognizing what you know. Start from what you know, because learning is about building on your prior experience. So it's very important for you to start from what you know, and then as you continue with that, you develop the confidence and the brain will function, because the brain under stress a lot of issues start to occur. But as you get more relaxed, that is when you get the energy and you get the power to continue and to be successful. Colleagues, there are a lot more that I could speak to this morning, but in the interest of time, I just want to mention those two: studying skills and test-taking skills. Again, you can go on the internet, you all like to Google. Just Google that. Google, what are studying skills for college students? Google, what is some test-taking skill for students? And a lot of times, the person who get the A's and the ones are not necessarily the brightest in terms of understanding and being able to apply the knowledge. They are the ones who have the ability to, under stress, perform. So you as a student, you have to know, recognize what works for you, whether it's listening to music, relaxing, playing some football, etc. These are characteristics that you must identify. So because we want you to be successful here at Excelsior, we are saying to you students, the charge to you this morning, try to find what works for you. We are all different. And in finding what works for you, get some tools, get some coaching, and the resources are available on the internet that will help you to navigate your journey and to ensure that here at Excelsior, you will be successful in whatever program you undertake. So it is my pleasure, colleagues, to continue to have these sessions on a weekly basis, even if it's just for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I will be here to continue to give you some tidbits, some key points that will enable you to be successful. And my own development came about by taking on these strategies and techniques. Because, I remember my days in school, persons would pretend, or maybe not pretend, but they're in the class, they're the most vocal. They will say the most. And sometimes you get the impression that, they are very bright and you are not so bright. But it's not what you say, it's what you do, is what you understand for yourself. And I will say to persons that, every course that I've done, I'm not just doing it to pass. I want to learn something. I want to be able to apply it. So education and training is not about just one being able to recall and memorize. It needs to transform your life. You're only educated when you have a behavioral change. Education is about changing behavior. And to change your behavior, you need to understand that which you read, and so you can use that for the upliftment of others and your fellow citizens. Thank you for listening. At this point in time, I want to call on our Vice Principal for Academic Affairs, Mrs. Naomi Jacobs, who will take us through and introduce her team as we move forward. Thank you for listening. Mrs. Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Good morning, everyone. I'm Vice Principal for Student Affairs. Just a slight correction there, and not Academic Affairs. Dr. Malcolm, Zaria Malcolm, is the Vice Principal for Academic Affairs. Okay, good morning, colleagues. Good morning, students. A special good morning to the executive members of the Student Union, a newly elected body. They are sitting here in the boardroom with us at this time, and this is a good way to start because they need to become boardroom members. So a warm welcome to you. We speak about student success, and I want to say to you, students, today that I have learned throughout my years at college and even now that to be successful, you must learn to follow instructions, and not just learn to follow instructions, but to actually follow the instructions and heed the advice that you are given from time to time. So I just want to point out to you quickly this morning some things that students need to be doing, or you should have already done, in order to be successful, a part of the success at Excelsior Community College. So I want to speak first about student registration. Remember, there's a difference between registration and course selection. A student is registered when the student, based on the system, the student management system, you would have passed stage 3. So you have selected your courses and you would have met the minimum requirement for your payment plan. And you would have been given clearance through student finance. You would have received academic clearance as well. And for the first year students, you would have submitted your medical reports. So please ensure that you meet the registration requirement. The last time we checked, just about 35% of our students, we have about 3,130 students last week on the student management system. And when we checked, just about 1,200 were registered past stage 3. That's what we mean. So we recognize that that is something that students at this time who are not registered, you need to take some action. Whatever it is that you need to do, please do so to get registered. And usually it is with your payment. I want to encourage you, we know that time is hard. We are in the COVID-19 period and you are having challenges. Everybody is having challenges. But as usual, Excelsior Community College is here to work with all students. We have been doing that. We have been quite accommodating. And so I'm encouraging you to visit or call the student finance office so that you can make that payment plan. And remember, don't be afraid to go and make a payment plan, because the payment plan is really to give an account of all the students who are actually in the system and who are contributing to the college funds or the running of the institution. So, and I want to speak especially to the K-13 students who are sponsored and other sponsored students. I know that you are sponsored. However, you still need to call or visit the student finance office so that the payment plan can be confirmed for you and we can account for your attendance and your contribution and the contribution of the Ministry of Education for you on the system. Don't stay away, don't shy away. And if you go to student finance and you believe that you need to go a little further, just ask student finance to refer you to either the guidance counseling unit or, well, I want to say lastly, to my office, right? Or send me an email so that we can deal with the challenges. But I want to warn you first, please make an effort before you try to, go elsewhere. Try to work with us as best as possible. So that is for registration and authentication now to access online classes. We have been very lenient. You have been going to classes. We have allowed you, some of you are signing in as guests. You're still using your private emails to do so. We have been very patient. I want to say to you this morning that for security reasons and for other reasons, of course, compliance, every student now needs to sign in with their ECC email, or to access the Zoom link. Please ensure that you authenticate yourself to be able to join the classes. And we don't like to threaten students, but we are going to tell you that please do so by November 28th, because after that, you are going to experience challenges if you try to access the classes other than your ECC email. Please conform and you won't be left out. We are not here to throw you out. We are here to ensure that you stay with us and do what you're supposed to do. So another thing that you need to do to experience success is we have some non-academic mandatory courses or requirements that all students must meet. For example, we have social outreach, and I think with the exception of the CXC students, all other students are required to do social outreach, and the nurses, right? So if you're a nursing student or you're doing the CXC program, you don't have to do social outreach, but all other students are required to complete 30 hours of social outreach to be able to complete your program of study successfully. And you must do it in the first year of your program and get it over with and done. However, it is COVID time, and normally the students would go out to organizations and institutions. that is really not so possible right now because we want you to be safe. So what I'm encouraging you as vice principal to do, and also the social outreach unit has informed me that it would be good for all of you to join in the Lapathon. We have an annual Lapathon, the social outreach Lapathon. And Mrs. Marlene Campbell is here spearheading that right now. So please, I would encourage you, participate in the Lapathon so that you can successfully complete the program without exposing yourself to the virus. And she will tell you about that some more at another time. For the tourism students, first aid, all first year students should do the first aid. If you did not do it in year one, you still have it outstanding. We are scheduling students so that they are still able to do the first aid, because no matter how you pass all the courses, if you don't get those, a passing grade for those, you will still not be able to graduate or even to move on at a certain level of the program. Clubs and societies, very important. And sports, we have about 25 clubs and societies. And if you go on the website, you will see them. You will see the benefits of joining a club. It's all about getting your co-curricular transcript. And nowadays, nobody's just taking persons because of academics. They're not employing you. If you have to get in an institution, if you have to be considered for scholarships, etc., you must have some co-curricular activity. And we have some quite interesting clubs and societies at Exeter Community College. Ryan, who is our president at this time, is a member of the Eagles Debating Society. And it was just last week, Friday, that the Eagles Debating Society, under the advisement of Mrs. Dennis P., the club advisor, Exeter Community College hosted the Eagles Debating Society tournament, the Eagles tournament. That Exeter Community College did that, and we had about 27 teams from tertiary institutions and other institutions participating. That's Excelsior Community College. We are trendsetters, we are leaders, and we're not considering ourselves third place or fourth place. Even other institutions might think they are first place and second place. We have first place and second places in our own rights. And I want to say that two of the teams our teams, Excelsior teams, placed second. But guess what? They were all new students just joining the club just in October, except Ryan, who is the member who has continued. We want to put our hands together, if you can, to clap for the Eagles Debating Society, and to thank Mrs. Dennis Speed and all the other persons who have worked to really make that accomplishment on behalf of Exeter Community College. For sports, we want to encourage you to join the teams. We have the different teams: football, basketball, male and female, track and field, rugby. Am I leaving out anybody else? We have netball. We have also have the Eagles walking, health and fitness club, basketball. Yes, we mentioned that, male and female. So please join a sport. And not only that, we want to engage you otherwise, not just in the intercol activities, although, you know, we're not too sure where we are with that just right now, but to involve you in the hall activities so we can have the hall competitions. Anybody remember the names of the halls? Anybody? They are named after our chairman and principal. Maureen Seymour Hall, the next one. Delia Repole Hall. Nadine Scott Hall, Wesley Powell Hall. Wesley Powell is our founder. Ted Dwyer, the founding principal of Excelsior Community College. So please, and we don't have the Mr. Fillmore McCarthy Hall as yet, right? But he says there won't be one. All right, we understand. So let us just join together and let Excelsior Community College be a motivating and an inspiring and exciting place, although we are not on campus. You're on your own, but you are not alone, and we have created a community in a virtual environment. Want to move on quickly to our CXC students, your CXC entries for CAPE and CSEC. That deadline was Friday, just gone here. Now, at usual Excelsior Community College, try to accommodate those students who are experiencing challenges. So you have until this Friday, is it the 27th, I think? Yes, Friday the 27th to ensure that you return your entry forms. Those students who are making the payments, do not forget to take along the receipt and the application form that you signed up for the entries. Several times students, they have paid the fees, they have signed up the application form, but they have it well placed in their bags between the books. And next year when they're supposed to be doing the examinations, they discover they're not on the list. Why? You did not return the form nor the receipt, and you didn't check with the examination, the assessment center, as it has been renamed, to tell you, for you to follow the instruction to check the entries, because you also have to check to ensure that your entry is correct. So please read again and follow instructions, part of the student success. For our services, counseling services unit, you may have seen a flyer that was put out for the counseling services unit inviting students and staff to access the services. We are online, we have the chat, we have the telephone contacts of the guidance counselors, and the information is there. If you just go back to the email from OMMC, came through OMMC for the counseling services unit, and they have been doing a pretty good job. Just 3 counselors, but they have committed their lives to Excelsior Community College, and we want to thank them very much for their services. We have the cafeteria. We know that many of you are not on campus, but from time to time you may come on. We have some challenges somewhat because they don't have enough students to access the service. They're not able to provide hot meals for us now, which we are in dialogue about that, and we will further communicate with you about that, because I know persons come on, you want to have a hot meal, staff and students, they are not yet providing the hot meal because they are not seeing the numbers as they say. But as I say before, we have written to them, they have responded to us, and we will be dialoguing on that issue, and we will give you some feedback. Now, for the academic matters, now, Dr. Malcolm is there. I'm not sure if she has anything to say this morning, but I want to tell you that we have recognized that some of you are having challenges. You have no instrument. Some of you have no Wi-Fi, you have no instrument, but some measures have been put in place for you to on campus to access some facilities to be able to do your assignments. And so we won't be able to, have everybody, but there can be a scheduling for you to be able to access Wi-Fi to do your assignments. But in terms of the tablets, through our principal, Excelsior Community College is offering students who are interested a 50% discount on tablets. The total cost of the tablet now, because it is tied to the currency, 30,000 Jamaican dollars. However, Excelsior will be making it available to those who are interested for $15,000. But you have to first put your money up, right? To show that you are sincere and that you really want it. And we have to get a minimum number. So I will be sending out the information as to how you, with the specifications for the tablet and how you may respond if you are interested. I think that is it for now. I know I can't be very long because the students have classes. One other thing for the sports department, there will be a fun walk for staff and students on Thursday, this Thursday, November 6th, on the Ring Road. Those of you who can join, please join. Right? Yes, I am now going to invite Dean Wilson to give an update. And then afterwards, I'm going to have Mrs. Marlene Campbell, who has been working with the students and the student union executive in the process of campaign, everything, and the election. She will now come forward and will present the candidates for you to see who they are. Thank you very much. All the best, students, and I wish you all the success. And remember, our doors and our phones and our emails are always available to you. Please let us hear from you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Principal McCarthy. Thank you, Mrs. Jacobs. Welcome, 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 one and all, Excelsior family. Since we're on student success, I would like to contribute to, just briefly, when I thought about student success and all the good information you got from the principal and also from Mrs. Jacobs, I just want to point out that success is not usually an individual event, but success takes place in a community. So I really, really want to encourage and endorse that whole sense of connecting with each other and doing it in a community. Not only you finding a community, but the community finding others. Don't allow anybody to fall behind if you have the opportunity. You miss somebody from class, reach out to them. Sometimes you're quicker to miss your colleagues than a teacher will. So please, I want to encourage you to remember that success usually takes place in a community. Don't do it alone. It is much more difficult. We are here to help each other, pull each other along, encourage each other, stand on each other's shoulders. So I want you, there are many A's out there to give out. Your A doesn't affect the other person's A, and the other person's A doesn't affect yours. And I want you to have that kind of community spirit as you go forward. All right. So welcome again. Just quickly to go through some of the stuff that we would like to remind you of in enrollment, because when you came in and saw our smiling faces, when you came in with your application forms, that's not the end of us. We're here to help you to begin and to help you to end. So we just want to remind you, remember for first years, when you got your your acceptance letter, you got about 6 or 7 different attachments, and you're like, oh my gosh. One of them includes email addresses for all the significant persons who you need to reach out to. So a lot of times we're finding people come back to enrollment because they're not quite sure where to go. But in your package, you would have seen a sheet of paper that has all the critical email addresses, and we want to encourage you to use it. Go to your school. We're not running you, but you're now a member of a smaller family in terms of your school. Reach out to your heads at school, and all the emails are there. You have the emails for the counseling unit. Everything is on that paper. Every person that you will need to reach out to, the ICT, everybody want to encourage you. If you're not quite sure, just go back to your acceptance letters and you will see that particular attachment. Also, please, you need to set up your ECC mail, or else you're going to be disenfranchised. You're going to be left out of things. We won't be able to send you your emails, and there are things that are happening that you'll be clueless about unless you hear it from somebody. And as Mrs. Jacobs said, in short order, you won't be able to access your classes. So we want to encourage you. It is not an option. This is something that has to be done, and you're disenfranchising yourself when you don't get on. You're not beating the system. You are allowing this, you're working yourself out of the system. So please remember to do that. And please remember to check your ECC mails. When a mail is sent from the school, it is not somebody just wanting to say hi or to gossip. It's critical information. And we're finding that people are not reading the emails. It's not optional. Read your emails. Also, we know that a lot of you are having connectivity issues. Let us know. Come by the enrollment, email us at admissions, tell us what your issues are. We have been calling up. A lot of you have been getting calls from us. Let us know what your issues are. Finally, especially for first years, you'll be hearing, and I think Mr. Peart might speak about it. We're going to be having a career assessment evaluation going out, especially the first years. You'll see it in your emails. So we're trying to help you, because sometimes you come and you're not quite sure what is it that you want to do. So as we'll be working with the career placement office to help you to figure it out, so you'll get an email, do a little quiz, and then we will work from there, call you in one-on-one if we see an issue, and we'll work with you. Just look out. As we're saying, we want you to know that enrollment unit has not abandoned you. We want you to come in if you have any kind of concerns. If you're not sure where to go, come and we'll sort you out. Between and if you figure it out and you feel like you're dropping out, because we're calling you, we have a new member in our unit who's especially there to track first years. If you feel like you're dropping out, if you feel like you can't manage, there is the counseling unit, there is enrollment unit. In fact, it's a whole Excelsior family. You call anybody. That's why we gave you that extensive list. I want to encourage you and just remind you again that success is a very rarely an individual event, but it takes a community, and you have a community set up and are ready to help. All right? You have a good day.
Principal McCarthy, Vice Principal Mrs. Naomi Jacobs, Dr. Zaria Malcolm, members of the academic, administrative, and ancillary staff, members of the Student Union Executive-elect, students in general, a very good morning. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the recent Student Union elections. The results are in, and it is my happy privilege this morning to introduce the members of the elected Student Union. Now, for President, Mr. Ryan Reed. Vice President, Ms. Tamika Boyer. Public Relations Officer, Shamoya Hyman. Treasurer, Applique McGregor. And our secretary is Mr. Kimani Lee. We're inviting everybody to join us next week for our installation ceremony. Have a pleasant day, everyone. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Okay, students and persons online, this has been a very interesting morning, and I'm happy that we have been able to meet our student council representative. I'm aware that persons will have classes at within the next 2 minutes, so I just want to use this 2 minutes to wrap up. I just want to say thanks, first of all, to Reverend Claudette Campbell, the currently assisting us here at Excelsior Community College as part of our chaplaincy. I want to offer special thanks to VP Jacobs, and I get it right this time, Students Affairs, for the excellent presentation and the information that she provided to you, the students, and the encouragement that was given. So I ask that you seek to follow those instructions and take part in the ability of you getting a tablet, because as part of your success, if you don't have the appropriate tools to do this, you will have a challenge. And it is for that reason why we here at Excelsior is investing in you, recognizing that we may not be having a face-to-face class just now, so whatever savings we would have in terms of our light bill and some of our costs, we are giving it back to you. So for those persons who have a challenge in getting tablets, we are saying to you, come to us and we will see. However, it may be limited in numbers, because based on the volume, we'll have to determine, it's a first come, first serve basis. We recognize that the Ministry of Education also provides a voucher system, which they have indicated that persons who have an interest in getting tablets could apply to the ministry, and you'll get a voucher for about, I think it was $20,000 to assist you to acquire the tablets, as well as persons who are in the CAP integration program. The ministry had indicated that they will assist in providing tablets. So we'll need to follow up on that. But the fact is that without the tools for success, you will have a challenge. And although come January, we may have to return, especially for our first year students, to have at least 2 days face-to-face, you're going to still need those devices to ensure your success here at the college. And we're also saying to our students, we're inviting you that if you have a challenge in terms of internet access at your home, and we can have a manageable number of students to come on campus on the days to access the library, drive on the compound, stay in your car, and access our Wi-Fi and internet facility. So you have no excuse for not being able to do the work. If you're an evening student, drive your car, come park, and you can stay in your car, access your classes, and participate in our program. We are trying to do all that we can to make your journey at Excelsior successful. I want to thank also Dean Marva Wilson from the Office of Enrollment and Admission, and ask that you follow her instruction. And I'm particularly pleased with the presentation of our Student Council members. And I must applaud Miss Marlene Campbell for her effort in engaging the students and to have this a successful event. I want to say thank to you all, on behalf of the Excelsior Community College administration and to encourage you to continue. And in closing, I must say that this series continues. Every Monday at 10 to 11, we will have principal hour. If you notice on the agenda, we have not been able to go to the other presenters in terms of career development and professional development. I will have discussion with our vice principal of student affairs to see how we can have some of these integrated into the installation ceremony and the other activities that we'll have for the rest of the year. I'm hoping that Reverend Campbell is still with us. Reverend Campbell? Is Reverend Campbell still with us?
Yes, I still am. Reverend Philip Robinson will be the one doing next week, though.
Okay, we appreciate that. I will just ask you to just give us a benediction as we part company and to give God thanks for having spared our life to have this experience once more.
Okay.
Reverend Campbell, thank you.
Let us pray. So God, we give you thanks for your presence and for your guidance. We pray now that as we leave from this media to continue the work of study and administering the college, we pray, oh God, that the blessing of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit will be with each one of us and all of us now and forevermore.
Volume is extremely low, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Reverend Campbell.
Okay.
We had over 250 students online. Somebody wanted to make a comment?
Yes.
Okay, a student want to ask a question quickly.
Yes.
Please go ahead, please.
I want to know, as it relates to we getting our recording, is it that we are not supposed to get it, or it's just up to the teachers who to facilitate us for the recording?
No, the policy of the school is that wherever possible, we ask that the recordings be made available. What has happened though is that some of the recordings may need some form of editing, because persons initially were not aware that the entire script as presented in the class would be made available, and it will take up a lot of space if you have a lot of empty patches in the presentation. So what we're going to be asking the lecturers to do is to assist us to edit those classes and to have them presented, or they will only start to tape the class exactly when they start to do the delivery and the teaching, and to have just that part of it made available. The fact is that we want to make it available so that students can access it anytime, anywhere at their convenience. That's our goal, but we are not there yet.
The reason for me asking is due to the fact that where I'm calling about the evening class, we're having trouble getting our recording for certain classes, because most of us is 1 hour before we are able to reach to the classroom. So we miss stuff. So we want the information in order to better able to sit the exams. So we're having problems.
Okay.
So it would be nice if you could assist us, because we will really love the recording to assist us, especially
Very
when
well.
class.
Very well. Good intervention. And we will definitely look into it and to make sure that it becomes available as soon as possible. Okay? And as well as the PowerPoint and those other factors. Okay, are there any other question?
Mr. McCarthy, good morning.
Yes,
morning,
go ahead.
Mr. McCarthy. Yes,
Could you identify yourself, please?
Yes, this is Mr. Daly.
Oh, Mr. Daly. Yes, Mr. Daly. What we're saying is that your presentation, we'll take it next Monday.
Yeah, man, I know. I just want to draw the attention to the students in the chat that my cell number is there. And every Friday, I have an open session. So we're from 5 o'clock to about 6 o'clock, thereabout. So if they have questions, they need some answers, that's a period in which they can come online, my private Zoom room, so they can come and ask the question. So my number is there. I can send them the Zoom link for that meeting on Friday, just to say that. Thank you.
Excellent, Mr. Daly. And I know that you're going to be having some good news for the students, because based on the changes in the expected changes in the US election, there should be hopefully a removal of the ban for those students who go on overseas exchange program. And I'm told that the ban comes to an end December. So we hope for the best. So I know that a number of students who have an interest to be a part of the cultural exchange work and travel program, you know, you'll have your hands full. So we invite persons to come next week, Monday, and some of those information will be shared, as well as we have a lot of success in terms of our students who would have gone on different scholarships and are doing very well elsewhere. So we want to share with you the successes we have had with our students and to try to motivate the rest of us to continue to work hard and continue to be successful. Colleagues, all, let me say thanks, and we already have our benediction. So I say to you,
I have a question.
be safe. Okay, one question, let's have it.
Well,
this is the last one. Go ahead, sir.
About the reservation for
We're not hearing you.
about the reservation for some of the classes, they are full.
We're not hearing you. Could you?
Your mind.
The reservation for some of the classes, some of them are full, and some of them and some of the teachers.
Somehow I'm not hearing.
All right, never mind.
Some of the classes are full.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, some of the classes are full. So what happens is that, yes, we have to limit some of the classes because what we have recognized is that students are sticking to one lecturer and another lecturer don't have enough students. So we have to find a way. I would suggest that you make contact with your head of school and to have those discussions, you know, and I kind of like this. What I will do is to make sure that at our next meeting, at least 10 minutes or more will be set aside for question and answer. And I'm hoping that come next term, we can have not just 1 hour, but at least an hour and a half for this, because I noticed that nearly half of the students have to log in other classes. So I realize that we will need a little more time. And I'm very appreciative of your question because it is based on your questions and your feedback that will help us to improve that which we're doing. May God be with you and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much. Blessings. Okay. Okay, Mrs. Jacobs.